Hey everybody, I want to make a separate video about how to implement your own speech bubbles in this system. So the speech bubbles are probably the most awkward part of the whole extension, and it's definitely high on my list of priorities to refactor. So to actually make it work properly, if you wanted to have your own dialogue bubbles, you would get your sprite or, make your asset or whatever, the whole thing with like the tail and everything. So for instance, in paint.net, I have this, the exclamation bubble. I'd pulled these off the internet from like a stock image website. And what you need to do though is actually split this up into a body and a tail. So your body is going to be this bit and the tail will basically be like this. Where even on the body, I still have a little bit of the tail listed here. And this is probably a lot easier for people who use or who make their own assets that have their own layers and stuff, because then you can just turn layers on and off, right, and export them separately. But the idea is that each bubble has the whole image, a body image, and a tail image. And the crucial thing here to make sure the scaling all looks proper in game is that the body and tail images should match the original width of this image. They might be different in height. Like clearly this is smaller in height than this one, and this is way smaller than this one in height. But that's fine, because in the game, when text overflows, what happens is this bit up here basically starts extending upwards, and so does the text with it. So the height's fine, that's going to scale, but the width is never really going to change when the text is writing. So what we want to make sure of is that you have your base image, then you split it into a body, then a tail that have the same width dimensions all around. And so you see this here with the inner monologue as well, and then the normal dialogue thing here. Now, the second thing about this is that your file names have to be something somewhat specific. So if I look at my exclamation dialogue, the file name up here is exclamation dialogue.png. My body and my tail therefore have to have exclamation dialogue with the same case, same spacing and everything as the prefix, but then with a suffix of body and tail. So if I look at these file names, I have exclamation body or exclamation dialogue body, exclamation dialogue tail. And basically the code is specifically looking for no spaces with capital camel case, essentially. So your first letter of each word is going to be capitalized and there's no spaces between them. So when you have your tail, there's going to be a capital T here for tail. When you have your body, there's going to be a capital B here for body, but they have the same prefix as the base image they're coming from. So again, if I look at inner monologue.png, this is going to be inner monologue body, inner monologue tail. This is normal dialogue PNG, normal dialogue body, normal dialogue tail. So as long as you do that and bring all three of the files into your assets, you'll be able to then select them in the node editor. So if I add a node here, I can then select the option in the speech bubble style. However, you want to make sure you're selecting the base image. I haven't figured out a way to restrict the options that you can choose from here, but basically you're going to want to choose the base image that includes both the body and the tail. And then what's going to happen is at runtime, in game, it's going to parse this image, and then it's going to parse this file name, and then it's going to grab the associated body and tails and assign them to this dialog box object here that has a tail and a body children, which have their own image scripts associated with them. So the tail image goes here and the body image goes here. So again, this is probably the most awkward part of the asset, and it's definitely something I want to fix up and make somewhat easier to use. But hopefully this video kind of gives you an idea of how you can go about making your own dialog box assets if that's what you need to do. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful, and I do apologize if the speech bubble implementation is a bit cumbersome. Thank you.